Good day, everyone. Now, a few things to say here, but for one, I did happen to mention in the community tab that this episode's thumbnail was going to be made with ChatGPT, but it was not. I had originally planned on making a follow-up video to crafting a new freedom, but I don't think that would have worked out very well. I mean, what would it even be about? Yeah, I know some of the people at work are going to be watching these vlogs regardless on what they're about, but when it's about the job specifically, you know they're going to be like, oh, it's about us this time, it's about us this time. But yeah, it was ultimately unnecessary. And so far, as of August of 2026, I have never made a thumbnail with ChatGPT. But I guess since Kale-Idle-Scope is dead now, I guess it would be kind of a serviceable substitute for when I absolutely cannot find anything fitting on Google. Secondly, I was aiming for this blog in particular to come out in mid-September of this year because I wanted to have a bit of self-control when it came to how frequently I post a video. I can go somewhat reasonable lengths without doing that, but of course I didn't contain it very well, and also I let the wheel decide, and... well, looks like we're doing it this month. One of these days, we're going to have to face the inevitable and go longer periods without uploading if I want to break that record of 53 days. Come on, Kale, you gotta contain it somehow. You guys got pretty lucky this time. Anyway, well, you may be thinking that I'm making this vlog because of D23 that happened last week, the Disney and Pixar stuff that was announced. I mean, there was quite a few things on the table here, including details on Coco 2. Supposedly, Ernesto is coming back for revenge, and it's like, I thought he died twice already, what the hell? And, well, he did. However, because there is still memories of him in the land of the living, like memorabilia and stuff, that means his soul still technically exists. It's fucking ridiculous. Either give us a new villain, or don't even bother. Remembering and continuing are two different things, amigo. Okay, well, none of that news that happened is the reason why I'm here tonight. As you guys likely know at this point, since it happened in 2024, you own Mickey Mouse now. Yeah, you, the viewer. I'm looking at you. You own him. I own him too, believe it or not. As a matter of fact, anybody who cares to use the earliest versions of him are allowed to do so. You know, the ungloved version? Yeah, he's all yours. But pay attention to what I said though. The earliest versions of him. That being Steamboat Willie. Disney will always own Mickey Mouse. I mean, duh, they created him. But they have changed and altered his design so much after all of this time that the first iterations of him, they're willing to give that out to just anyone. Not every company in the world would be willing to do this given enough time, mind you. I'll always have the monopoly on Behemoth Vlogmaster episodes, unless, of course, the time that I die, but when the show ends, it ends. Nobody's gonna create a revival that's official. And no matter how much I improve in the coming years, don't think that you will be able to re-upload my earlier blogs without giving me credit. But I guess in this specific case, the Walt Disney Company really doesn't mind. And technically speaking, if the design keeps changing more and more over time, to a point where like Mickey is red like Clifford or some shit, then yeah, maybe we'll own today's version of him, possibly. That would be a long time from now that day comes. And strangely enough, I did not know this before I typed the script, that Steamboat Willie was not really the first Mickey Mouse cartoon. It was just the first one with sound. There were technically two before it, those being Plain Crazy and the Gallopin' Gaucho. But Willie is just the first one that people point to, so we'll go with that one. Last time I checked, I am part of anybody. So that means I can add my own lore to this thing and use it in my own video. I mean, I kind of already do that with other properties, I kind of just build theories on them. But now it's technically considered canonical, because, like I said, anybody owns Mickey Mouse, the Steamboat Willie version. I remember one of my cousins years ago told me that the original Steamboat Willie had like Nazi symbols in it. Because back in the day, before Hitler had reigned, you know, it was considered appropriate. Like, there was nothing wrong with using that in cartoons back in the day. But I watched the whole thing recently, and I don't think that's true. I didn't see a single swastika in this whole damn thing. All there really is Pete chewing on a brick of tobacco, and this weird-ass scene right here. Yeah, nobody in their right mind would ever do that unless they wish for a trip to the hospital. So, on to my own lore. And when it comes to where this takes place, they never told us. Like, it was never established the exact river that they were traveling on. The premise is that Mickey's job is to load cargo and animals on and off the boat. It could be anywhere, but I'm picking the Arkansas River, or at least a river in Arkansas, because from what I googled, that state not only has lots of rivers, but it also has lots of mice. And I think you can tell the two go hand in hand together. I don't know how the fuck this is relevant, but one of my cousins had a baby in Arkansas at the end of last year, and she mentioned something about Little Debbie stores being big around where she lived. Like, not the headquarters, that would be in Tennessee. She just said there was a Debbie store around her area that was pretty popular, if I'm not mistaken. At the time, she said she could give me something from there if I was interested. Do mind if I don't? Actually, no, I don't mind if I don't, because the offer is too late now, but thanks anyway. Now, Mickey Mouse was introduced in the 1920s, long ago, and he was pretty young during his shifts on the Steamboat. In fact, I would even say Mickey Mouse was a child during Steamboat Willie. That's right, that's what I believe, and it's because of how he was acting on deck. Like, kicking baby pigs while they're nursing, not to mention abuse to other animals, and breaking the steering wheel. Yeah, it's broken because he's turning the wheel, but not the boat itself. The captain had to go and fix it, little brat. And it might seem weird to have, like, a young kid having a job as a dock worker, lifting up heavy cargo and shit like that, but I mean, like I said, this was the 20s. People didn't have any concern for people's experience or safety back then. If a kid could walk, they could work. I mean, for bull piss ass sake, children were working in factories barefoot, for crying out loud. There were zero fucks given. And not to mention, Mickey's family was really poor, and possibly his dad was ill, so he had no choice but to leave home and go work. But I guess technically that also means that Minnie Mouse, who is also in this short, would have been a kid too, because their age difference isn't that big. In fact, the people who voiced both Mickey and Minnie were married in real life. That's a fun fact. I'm not joking, that's actually real, look it up. But anyway, so Captain Pete, the real captain, finds out that Mickey had been breaking a lot of the rules, such as letting an outsider onto the boat and sucking off making music and stuff, not to mention what I said earlier. Pete is basically like, this is your last chance or I'm docking your pay. And he sends Mickey to the potato bin since he can't be trusted with any other task. He technically cannot kick Mickey off the boat because that would be stranding him in the middle of nowhere, and I think that would be child abuse. He would have no way to get back home, and that would just be cruel. So, Mickey just cuts the potatoes for the rest of his shift. He cuts one of them, but then throws another out the window, he laughs for a bit, and then falls asleep for the 3 remaining hours until they got home. After that, Captain Pete fires him from the cargo industry, and Mickey's family remains poor. I don't know what that means for Minnie Mouse, though. But anyway, that was this episode, and I will...